So we continue here in FinTech Americas with more conversations, people that are really making a difference in the industry. And now I have the pleasure to be sitting here and having a conversation with Colton, who is a Secure's and newly appointed Chief Marketing Officer. And he's a FinTech leader for sure. I was actually speaking to him before we started this conversation. He is a leader driving global marketing strategy and revenue growth for the organization. So Colton, welcome to this conversation.
Thank you. It's great to be here, especially at this conference, bringing together Latin America and the U.S. and various aspects of fintech and financial services. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And with that you just said, you have built your career completely at the intersection of brand revenue and brand relevance as well, also growth and fintech. So with that said, what made Secure the place for Colton where he could have the biggest impact in fintech right now?
Yeah, great question. So I joined fintech. I was in academia for a little bit, and I joined fintech about 9 years ago because I wanted to be in an industry where I felt like there was an outsized difference we could make. If you look at just the U.S. market, for example, 6 out of 10 Americans can't afford a $400 emergency expense. So there's a lot of increased work that we can do to drive financial wellness forward, and that's why I've been in fintech. About 6 months ago, I got introduced to the potential opportunity to join Secure. And as I dug deeper in, as we look at some of the biggest challenges facing the world today, AI is a huge blessing, but AI comes with a double-edged sword in that you can't trust what you see. For the first time in the history of the world, you cannot trust what you see in front of you, which is we move as a world to engage, interact digitally, and even have agents engage on our behalf. You need a way to be able to verify that this person is indeed this person, trying to make this purchase, trying to open this account, trying to open a loan, trying to do this outcome, trying to place an Uber ride, trying to make a bet on a sports betting app.
Yes.
And Secure is at the forefront and the cutting edge of how to verify that this person is indeed that person trying to make an interaction with the brand.
And very important. Definitely, we are in new times. And I love that you're saying that because identity is shifting from a mere compliance function to core infrastructure for fintech. So what's driving that change, Colton, and why is it happening now?
Yeah, what's interesting with AI, so if you think about a fraudster, any fraudster, they run a P&L, they're running like a business, a bad business, but they are running a business to where they have expenses and they have revenue. What AI has done is it's driven the cost of fraud to near zero. So that allows fraudsters to make attacks at scale and find vulnerable points within an opportunity to engage fraud. So what they're doing is the pace of fraud has accelerated. They find vulnerabilities that are not just in normal account opening, but throughout the entire life cycle and exploit those vulnerabilities. So organizations we work with and that we're seeing best in class are finding more ways to fortify beyond just the account opening experience to other touch points that you have with consumers and businesses throughout your life cycle.
That's great, Colton. Great conversation so far. Now, if a fintech leader is still like treating identity as just an onboarding checkpoint, right? Like just one step, what are they missing in today's risk environment? Because it's true, we are in a new era where like going with AI, we have agents interacting now with people like, wow, what's the risk in the environment that they are like doing right now by just treating identity as a checkpoint?
You're going to see a rapid acceleration of fraud and risk post that point in time of account onboarding that you're seeing. So, for example, we work with a top 10 bank here in the U.S., and they saw an acceleration of fraud in person in branches. People coming in and impersonating that I'm Colton, even though I'm not Colton, and accessing my account. So you're going to see more of those attacks that fraudsters are going to have throughout the entire lifecycle experience, which any attack or vulnerability creates a bad customer experience and then increased losses that we will need to fortify as an industry.
With that said, where is Secure right now headed over the next few years? And obviously, you are right now doing such a big change, a transformation in the fintech world through Secure. So as fintech expands across Americas, Latin America too, as you were saying, we're all here together right now. How does getting identity right can actually unlock that growth and not just mitigate the risk?
Yeah, great question. So on your earlier point, why we're here and why we're here at the FinTech Americas conference is because Socure as a business has predominantly been U.S. focused, U.S. and Canada, so North America. 18 of the top 20 banks in the U.S. work with Socure. And over the past year, we've expanded rapidly internationally through Europe and through Latin America. And we're seeing a lot of, and you all have seen this, companies in Latin America and Europe come into the U.S. and have their presence. Nubank got their OCC charter conditionally approved and is a huge presence in Latin America and expanding their force here in the U.S. as a result. So we're seeing many of these companies require identity infrastructure that is global and that we believe only really Socure can provide. And if you look at what's to come and the forefront, the cutting edge of identity is how to understand identity decisions at a global scale. So many organizations make decisions only based on data they see within their four walls. I mentioned Nubank, so let's say Nubank. They make decisions based on me as a customer, if I'm a customer of Nubank, that Nubank seeks. But imagine if you could make decisions based on all interactions that me as an individual have with other brands. I take an Uber ride, I hop on a Delta flight, I place a bet in DraftKings, and then I log into my Nubank account and I log in my Capital One account, and you can see all of those interactions and you make way better decisions, which allows you to be able to decrease fraud, but also allows you to decrease friction and drive growth. And the future of identity and digital experiences is not increasing friction. It's for the right people, for good people, decreasing friction to allow them in and stopping bad actors.
Colton Pond, what a very eye-opening conversation we've had. I'm sure that you're bringing such a very important perspective to the many people here in FinTech Americas when it comes to like how to minimize that risk, right? In this new environment of AI when it comes to something as important as institutions where is the money. So Colton Pond, thank you for being here with us today. I can't wait to see you in the next FinTech Americas and even learn how much Socure is continually like really impact this industry.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Great to be here.